Hi friends, my name is Jan Nel and I come from Thailand. I was born in Africa in a country called Northern Rhodesia. Well, after I finished school in South Africa, we went to boarding school in South Africa. And after we finished school in South Africa, we moved to a country called Rhodesia. And very soon did all my firsts, got into my first job, got my first vehicle, got married, had my first kid, second kid, third kid. 1980, the country got its independence. I trained for the ministry and then came back and started my first church with 18 people. Well, that I'll tell you about a little later because that's part of the history of what my ministry is. Anyway, 1987 we left Zimbabwe and moved to Johannesburg, South Africa, a place called Kempton Park. And again, I took over a very small church, and for just over 17 years, I led that church and did all my cutting of teeth on apostolic ministry. I'll tell you more of that later. So then, end of that time, got an open door to America, and little did I know that God had another plan and was going to launch me not just in Africa but now internationally. And so for 4 years I just traveled the globe pretty much with no fixed abode. Anyway, from that position, we continue to live in Thailand, the mountains of Thailand. We have an apostolic training center up in the north of Thailand where we do training. We also have a pastoral home where we bring ministers who need ministry recovery, who need just to be re-envisioned, refocused, and God uses me that way, and it's a privilege to do it. Well, my ministry started in 1980 in Zimbabwe, as I said, and I was in what is known as the southeast of Zimbabwe. The southeast of Zimbabwe had very little in the way of English-speaking churches. I had a church of 18 people that I adopted, and from there, God met me in an incredible encounter where I literally was transformed in the realm of the Spirit, and from that day started to move in significant signs and wonders, casting out demons, moving very strongly prophetically. And of course that developed then into an apostolic type ministry where we planted 14 churches in 6 years. It was a phenomenal time. I was training leaders, equipping folk for the future. Today that church plant continues. It's close on 40 churches, handed over to my son in the Lord, and we just rejoice in all God has done in that region. Well, after being there, I really I thought I could turn anything around, and I moved to South Africa. Little did I know I was walking into a hornet's nest, and all the important lessons for ministry that I'd never learned at Bible school was now going to be learnt. And so I stepped into a church that had multiple attempts at splits. We had a Jezebel spirit operating through a number of people there. And of course, I learned very quickly how to hear the Spirit of God, be obedient to what He said, learn principles of character as to how to stand and persevere when everything is falling around you. And so just learned how to be strong and stable. And then of course Zimbabwe opened up to us again, and we ended up having churches throughout Zimbabwe, into Mozambique, Malawi, Botswana, and I would regularly go up, having now connected officially with a team from Southampton called Cornerstone Ministries or Cornerstone Network. They were, of course, called it CNET. It was under a pastor called Tony Morton, outstanding man of God. With him were men like Peter Butt, Peter Line, and Graham Cook, who probably people know a bit more today, who is based in Vacaville, America. And so they would come and help me with ministry in these countries, and we would have glorious times. I remember when Graham joined me on the one time, we had over 400 people, most of them senior leaders from Zimbabwe. And so God really gave us favor, gave us opportunity. But after I moved to South Africa, it was not just this issue of being able to move apostolically that became obvious. It was really coming into a major confrontation with high-powered demonic activity. From that, I learnt ministry on the realm of the spirit that has been tremendously valuable and helpful to people over the years. Things like strategic lies, the changing of atmosphere, how to flow in the spirit, how to create an environment for the miraculous. All of these became very, very clear to me, and God gave me the grace to move in those. But as I said, America had opened up, and to my surprise, America exploded in two places, in a place called Connecticut, Fairfield County, and in a place called Ohio, Stark County. And so I suddenly found myself in a new world, and the hunger that people had for understanding the things of the Spirit, for understanding leadership principles, for understanding how to plant churches and build leadership, became really evident. And God had graciously given me these tools, especially the realm of the prophetic and the apostolic. And so I taught teams how to move in the prophetic. Hundreds of people got set free in the ability to hear God for others. And so it continues still today, praise God. But something was going to happen to me that I didn't expect, and that was that suddenly God launched me into Asia and Australia. And just a prophecy came 2 weeks before it happened that God was going to open the whole world to me. And all of a sudden, I got this invite into Malaysia. And from Malaysia, it moved to Philippines. From Philippines, Singapore, Indonesia, Nepal. It just kept growing. It was unbelievable. We ended up planting a church in Kuala Lumpur with a dear brother of mine, and that church has grown to be a significant church in the region, and God gets all the glory, of course. And then, of course, Australia opened two places, a place called Melbourne and Sydney, where we did ministry a number of times, and then Nepal, Kathmandu, did ministry in Kathmandu with a large group of leadership that had been planted out by a very strong American missionary, and just saw God do some great things. One of my highlights was to go and train drug addicts at the very foot of Mount Everest. It was something that I never expected would ever happen. Anyway, so my ministry continued and has continued very strongly to extend in America, and we do Southeast Asia still. My wife and I do work into the poor, the hill tribes of Thailand. There are 18 hill tribes around us, and we do poverty relief to them as much as we can with the vehicles we have. Our biggest aim was to establish an apostolic training center, which we have done. In 3 years, we built a center with no predictable income. We had no money, and God's people supported us, supplied, and today we have a large facility that we do really intense development training courses at. One of the training courses I do is a thing called an Apostolic Adventure, and that is when I normally take leaders, senior leaders especially, from around the world and bring them to either Africa or bring them to Thailand. And in a space of 6 days, 7 nights, I train them on finding their life ministry, their prophetic destiny, finding principles and process of how God is training them and equipping them. We've had 100% success rate on every single person that's arrived and been hungry has left transformed. We're so grateful for this course, and of course it's already full for January this coming year. So we're looking at doing an extra one on December. We will see about that. But the fact of the matter is the ministry continues to grow and expand, and suddenly now, on the 17th of March 2020, every door throughout the world closed to me being able to travel. And so we established base in Thailand now, and have taken my material over the 40 years. All my training material is being converted, developed, put onto the web, and we'll very soon make that available for membership throughout the world, where people can access my teachings on every level: how to find your life gift, strategic lies, moving in the prophetic, understanding the apostolic, building effective teams in your church, creating pulpit ministries. It goes on and on. So we would love to make that available to all of you. But that's my life in a nutshell. We're busy in the middle of all of this development now, just getting a presence known. And we invite you to have a look at our website. Our website is found at the link that'll come at the end of this, but it'll be found in Apostolic, www.apostolic, APOSTOLIC dash hyphen team, TEEM, not TEAM, TEEM.net. And you can look up there what we're about even more depth, and we welcome you to keep a track of what we're doing. We're doing a number of Zoom trainings for leaders around the world at the moment, and you're welcome to be a part. We're also doing material which can be accessed on the web in the days that lie ahead. Well, it's been wonderful meeting you, even if it's virtually, and we send blessings to you. If we can be of assistance in any way, if I can help you develop your church, develop your leaders, give me a shout. If I can help you grow in your faith, the word team in our website is for the acronym training to be effective and excellent in ministry. That's our aim. That's what we are about. I long to see the church become the place it's supposed to be. I long to see people find their ministries, and I love being a part of helping them to do that. So God bless you. Keep well.